Hey guys, coldbrew here. Welcome back to another raid video. Big things we're going to talk about today, and the biggest part is the introduction of mythical champions in the game. Given that the mythical champions will be something very difficult for many players to acquire, not only because it's going to be through a shard, there's going to be random chance in there, there's going to be also the factor that this will bring in some imbalances to the game. Not talking about the mythical champions and the power within themselves and how powerful they will be, because many accounts will have big difference in how much power they have compared to others. That's not the problem. The problem is new players who even started a year ago, even 2 years ago. There's a big gap between all the other players and the big spenders. Okay, this gap only increases with the more things that the game introduces slowly but surely as time progresses, because the power creep in the game is something that honestly needs to happen when you keep on introducing champions. That one champion needs to be more powerful than the other in order to beat the more difficult contents that the game pushes out. And a good example of that is the Sand Devil and the Phantom Shogun. The Iron Twins, those require a significant amount of investment, not only in the gear of your accounts, but things also such as the Great Hole bonuses. Okay, and talking about that is where I wanted to structure the video idea for today. So I was thinking about talking to a friend about the mythical champions and how they will be introduced to the game, and he said that it will be impossible to catch up. And it's a reality that catching up to whatever the norm is or have an equal account with others is an impossible task at the moment. I'm not talking only about the champions, because champions can slowly be acquired, and the lower spender you are free to play, the harder it is to get champions. That's not what catching up is, in my opinion. Catching up is building up the gear, building up your Great Hole bonuses, your live arena bonuses now, the area bonuses, building up your champion acquisition through the Doom Tower. This is a big part of the game and a tremendous challenge in terms of PvE. This can be challenging even for more seasoned accounts to eventually be able to farm every single stage and every single secret room, to have that completed in order to pick up all the champions through here. And you can argue after a point, like an example is the Doom Tower now that I've picked up, is after a point all of the champions that you get here don't really have a value to the account other than just being a vault champion. And these champions require 3 months minimum each of completing the secret room. Since you get 3 fragments for each secret room, there's 12 secret rooms, so you get 36 fragments per rotation that you fully complete, which is an almost impossible task for many accounts out there even now. Okay, even myself, I skipped lots of secret rooms because I just didn't want to bother, because I knew the next rotation I can complete a good 8 out of 12 without really thinking about it, just full auto. I didn't really want to put the effort into investing in champions that I knew would only be, only matter for 3 fragments for some of these champions, which I wouldn't even use. I haven't seen any of these champions being used for the majority of the content in the game. The highest used champions, honestly, are the normal difficulty ones, and it's up to here, up to Dark Hell. Anything after that is basically useless, and it becomes useless because of how long it takes. And we're coming back to the subject of the video, which is in order to catch up to all of this, it's just a lot of playtime. What I think Raid should do, and an example here would be, is introduce maybe a system where you start to slowly acquire many more fragments for completing the secret rooms. This will not affect the seasoned players who already, at the moment when they complete the secret rooms, they just get materials for their forge, which some might not even bother except for maybe very specific sets. And giving more fragments will just allow new players to start getting those champions much quicker, instead of that long period of time to acquire them. And I'm talking that this is a long farming session to get Dark Hell, even on normal, which is the easiest one. Okay, the easiest rotations overall. So with that in mind, I think Raid should switch their gears now that they're introducing mythical champions. Say, okay, we know that these are parts and features we introduced many years ago. They're still there. Many things need to change, and we are up for it. One of those changes was like the clown boss, getting into a 1-key team that can allow you to insta kill the clown boss. Saves you a lot of time. Saving time, making things farmable quicker should be the way that Plarium moves forward. Introducing things such as live arena now adds more time into our schedules, right, for playing the game. And this game shouldn't be a game that you play for 24 hours a day, which sometimes it feels like you gotta have your farming team going over and over the runs, and if the runs are long, can take lots of hours to farm. You gotta do your live arena, your normal arena, your tag arena, your clan boss, your Doom Tower teams, your Hydra bosses. Now that there's the Hydra class, also you have to focus and do more damage. The faction wars, you gotta push there, get this farming, get Lydia. Now it's even harder to get Lydia. All of this adds up and adds to the frustration of a new player. This needs to be toned down and brought back to the reality, which is Raid as a mobile game. It's not so mobile anymore, since I barely play it on mobile anymore for many years now. But things need to change, right? Things need to change for the better. And I've started already with my Doom Tower idea. We'll move on forward to the Great Hall idea. This needs to be quicker to complete. No doubt about it. I don't care. I've completed it many years ago. I don't care if they make it quicker now. I don't care if it takes half the time, a third of the time, a fourth of the time even. I don't care. Make players be able to complete this sooner. Get their arbiters sooner. Push through sooner. You need to have 10 of these completed at maximum level to get Ramantu. Make things easier, Plarium. That's how you need to move forward with the game. You shouldn't be stalling players and causing them to quit. You want your players to be interested in the game. They'll put in their money every month if they're a spender. Even the $10 pack for the gem, the daily gems, is something in terms of getting back revenue for your veteran players. The area bonuses can stay on how they are, but this will eventually need to be changed as well. This can be the next long-term thing that players should be focusing on, and at the moment I think it's okay and fine on how it's structured. It does take time, but it feels like it's doable, okay? But that's for me where I do this as a full-time. If this was not completed and I had to juggle both of those farming sessions, I would go crazy. And look at my stats. I mean, 5 wins. That's the only thing I did this week in terms of Classic Arena. Did nothing else. And this is not the reality for 99% of the players out there who still have to do their maximum amount of runs every day. So make this easier, player. Make this easier. In terms of getting champions, I don't think it's really a problem in getting champions. There's 2x events, 1+1, 10x events, 2x, 10x events. There's guarantees. There's fusions. There's fragment collections. There's all of that to get champions. And the majority of content right now can be completed even with epic. So getting champions is not what I want to discuss. It's more about getting the books to skill up those champions. We need something that introduces a more farmable concept for the books. This has been argued, ad nauseum, but many creators are out there about a book dungeon where you farm and get pages for the books. Even that was Chosen's idea some time ago. But this is another part of catching up to other players. Make skill books easily acquired for all players out there. I know it's a source of money again for Plarium, but if it's a source of frustration more than a source of enjoyment, this game will be more quittable than anything by players out there. And I don't think Plarium wants players to be quitting, especially once they reach a point where they can't recruit more players than keep players, okay? So that's what they used to do at the beginning, but as their game is transforming to something different, they need to understand on how to evolve and move forward as a game that is the leader in their gacha industry of those high-end graphics compared to all the other gacha games that I played of this sort, the turn-based hero collector kind of games. They need to understand this, and once they do, they'll even become their difference with the second game out there will be so huge that there will be no way to question on how good this game is. And just a final bit to introduce into the discussion for today, guys, is this one. This is the raid update that they posted yesterday about 7.5 coming soon. The mythical champions coming soon. This will also add, the Hydro Clash chest as something that all players need to be doing every single week in order to get those primary shards. They will be able to get rare, epics, legendaries, and mythicals through those primal shards. I know. But also a new feature is in the works. It's not completed yet. It is my understanding, all right? When they say it's in the works. So this new thing PvE or PvP content, whatever it is, this will bring in more time investment by the players, which brings in all the discussion I've done in the past 10 minutes about on how Plarium needs to evolve and move forward. And moving forward means all of those changes coming in. They can do it in however they like, in however form they like. I just give out some of my thoughts. Sometimes they watch my videos, sometimes they don't. Most of the time they don't. But I think this would be a nice way to ease in many changes, many of quality of life and needed changes to make the game better. All right, I don't understand how this is something that needs to be discussed over and over in videos, but making this as the final part of Raid and requiring a lot of time to be spent by players shouldn't be such of an issue. It should be something that is pretty clear by players, right? There's so many things I can very easily do nowadays. Moving forward, I should be totally fine with just farming Hydra with my better teams and even doing manual runs in order to get those primary shards. That should be the discussion by all players out there, and not so much about being disappointed about the mythical champions. Overall, I try to be positive. I understand they have a lot of things in the pipeline for Raid, and many things that were discussed in the past might come in the future, such as clan v clan in terms of PvP, actual PvP that might come. We only have PvE at the moment, like CVC and now the Hydra Clash. So actual PvP might come 2024, 2025, who knows? But it's definitely in the works. And I would bet that if they don't introduce something like this, it will be the downfall of Raid. All right, I've seen many players quit. I know many players get disappointed. There's their ups and downs within this game. But no doubt, without changes for the better, in terms of what I've discussed so far, I don't think the game will go to where they want to. And the primal shards and introduction of more systems that players can spend their money is not the way to go. You'll get players that will spend, for sure, but you'll get players that will quit if they know that it's an impossible mountain to climb in order to play the game. And there's many times I've seen on Reddit where players just ask, should I start Raid in 2023? Is it worth it in 2023 to start? Is it too late to start the game? So these questions need to be answered in a way of helping players push quicker to reach other players. And I doubt players who are at the point on their account like mine, like full great hole progression and stuff like that, they wouldn't mind. Honestly, I'm just being brutally honest right now. Even gear farming should be a little bit better in terms of the odds to help out players, in terms of maybe having some sort of double drops for new players only. That will help their accounts grow quicker. Anyway, guys, this was the video for today. Just food for thought for everyone out there. And in the comment section, let me know your thoughts right now. I'll try to respond to however many comments that I can, but let's try and have a discussion over there in the comments. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel out. We're very close to 45K subs. Thank you all, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.